Hi, I'm Dean Saman, fellow at the Vadine Center for Rural Economic Development at the University of Minnesota Crookston. Today we're going to discuss and quantify food waste throughout the world and discuss its impact on agriculture. Put simply, the world creates a lot of food waste. In fact, in tonnage, China creates the most, and it's roughly 64 kilograms a year per capita, followed by India, then the United States, and then a slew of countries thereafter. Most people don't think China and India create that much waste, but the reality is they do. Simultaneous that, for perspective, going to the United States, discussing the environmental impacts just from our waste alone, greenhouse gas emissions for food waste are equivalent to 42 coal-fired power plants. There's enough water and energy to supply more than 50 million homes across the United States. And in addition to that, the amount of fertilizer to grow all plant-based consumption in the United States, all plant-based food consumption. From a geographic perspective, think of the states of New York and California, and that's literally the amount of land that's being wasted because of the food waste problem we have in the United States. Now, in addition to quantifying the waste, there's high impact on agriculture. For example, each farm realizes higher carbon scores within its respective supply chain vertical. This is very important when you consider environmental, social, and corporate governance standards for producers, processors, and then those that buy the products. And put simply, waste costs a lot of money. Then there's the impact on the environment, as we talked about earlier, whether it's land size, equivalents in terms of coal-fired power plants, fertilizer facilities, etc. But then there are a lot of opportunity costs that aren't being realized either. For example, when it comes to food to fuel, sustainable aviation fuels, where today aviation accounts for 3 or 4% of total carbon emissions, by 2030 it's suspected it'll be around 10% of global carbon emissions. Why that's important? Well, as India and China and other countries become middle income, we're going to need a more sustainable path forward with respect to how we use aviation assets in the commercial sector. The same thing applies to other biodiesels. A lot of this waste could be used to be converted into clean fuels across the country or even the world. That would create lower carbon scores for farms, producers, processors, and transportation mechanisms. Entities would likely pay a higher premium for markets or for product in markets. And then having higher environmental, social, and corporate governance scores for regions and states will enable more effective USDA loan guarantees, bond ratings for states, municipalities, or entities that operate where they're in. And then less waste is equivalent to more food sovereignty, so less of a dependence on producing and shipping to other parts of the world. Overall, that would likely produce less insecurity because more supply would be created, creating slack in areas where demand is already tight. And so, I mean, the list goes on and on for the opportunities we're missing as a result of wasting too much food. I'd like to thank you for joining me today and hope you have a great weekend. Thank you.